Adam here, Nomadic Off-Road Campers, and I thought it was about time that we started doing a bit of a refresh on our handover videos. So in today's video, this is going to be broken into several sections, and we're going to go through the entire handover process on what is a Norca 16 bunk van, but you'll see that there's a lot of common synergies across our entire range. So this video should tick the boxes for just about all of our customers. Let's go.
All right, so here we come to the pointy end of the caravan, so which is where we're connecting it to our tow vehicle. Every single person's tow vehicle is going to be completely different. What we're looking for on most of our vans, except for our dual axles, so our single axles, we're looking for a hitch height around about 550 off the ground. That's going to have our caravan relatively level. If you've got one of our bigger dual axle vans, you're looking at about the 620, 630 millimeters. That's your height here. So if your vehicle doesn't have that, you may need to go and buy yourself a dropper, which is what we've got here on the back of this car. Even though it says Pajero, it is for a cruiser. So get yourself a decent one, 350 kilo or 400 kilo rated tow hitch there on the back. Always a good idea. You can have one for the caravan, one for the boat. That way you just chop and change when you need to. Okay, from a caravan point of view, we have got our DO35 coupling on here. So that's on the front of our caravan. If you haven't used the DO35 coupling, probably one of the world's best off-road couplings. We can see here we've got the full weight of the trailer on our car. Literally all we're having to do is a pin system with a slide grommet that'll actually lock it all in, or a sliding lock. Pin goes on, lower it down with the jockey wheel, and then we're pushing the button to lock it onto the tow vehicle. If it doesn't lock onto the tow vehicle, it means it's not connected. The other little safety device that they've got here from Cruise Master is this little cap. So you've got the little cap there. If that cap doesn't go on and stay on, it means it's not on correctly. So that's another little safety device. So we know that's on. That's our little reminder to say, yep, it's all hooked up to the tow vehicle. Coming to the front then as well, we've got our chains. We've crossed them over underneath, and we've got our rated shackles connected to the vehicle. Quite simple to use. The other device up here is our breakaway unit. So if I disconnect that right now, that simulates the vehicle being disconnected from the trailer. All of my power on board there is going to the brakes on board the caravan. So if the caravan did become dislodged from the car for whatever reason, that would mean essentially you've got a braking system that's going to trigger, and the caravan should pull up and hopefully not get wiped out by the truck behind it. So that there, don't use that as a parking brake, because that will flatten your battery very, very quickly. So always make sure that's in nice and tight. And you can see here it's not connected to our chains or anything. It's connected to a separate area of the vehicle. And I've just run it through a loop here just to keep it off the ground. We've got our trailer plug, which on this van is a 7-pin flat. We've also got our Anderson plug, and I'll explain how the Anderson plug talks to the DC in a later video.
That's good.
With our plugs here, again, we do have a one-size-fits-all. So for utes and everything, you'll need them longer. For the sedans and wagons, you don't need them as long. What I've done is just trying to keep everything off the ground. So we've got a little cable tie here, just holding those up and out of the way. So no branches, no trees, no mud, no ruts are going to get jagged, and those wires aren't going to get caught. So best invention in the world, cable tie. Up the front as well, we've got our jockey wheel. So we've now wound up our jockey wheel and brought it up the whole way, so that way we can see the entire weight of the van is now on the vehicle. Now if you look down here, with all the arc jockey wheels, they've got a little key system. That key system, as we wind it, will lock in to one of those holes. I always suggest putting it in this position. The reason being, when I fold this over, I'll lift it up so you can see there it's all adjustable. If I pull that out, try and do this back to front, and swivel it up, we can see our jockey wheel is the same width as our chassis. That way nothing's going to get jammed or snagged. All right, so really handy there. Now, the final bit of the ingredient here. ARC have worked out how to make a little bit more money. That's a removable handle. They cost about 35 to 40 bucks. Make sure you take it off, otherwise you have to keep on buying them from ARC. Put it in the back of the car. Robert's your father's brother. So, that's all in the way. We know we're all secure up here. Now we can go back through and start closing up the van and get ready to leave. So from our point of view on this van, we'll start going through all the different features on this van now. Okay, so now at the front of the van, you can see here, these toolboxes are a really great addition to the Norca range. So up here, you've got a whole heap of tie down points. Today, it's not strapped down yet, but we're going to put our firewood, we're going to put our camp mats up here. We've got customers that have put bike racks up here, we've got customers that have put tables up here. I personally take my table, my camp mats, otherwise nothing's dirty is going inside the van, and a couple of bags of firewood, and you're all sorted. Moving on to this position, you've also got our gas bottles. Now, on this van, it's 2 9-kilo gas bottles. On most of our new vans, they're 2 4.5s because there's just no need to carry all that weight. If we look on here, we've got the new piggy tail, which meets all the Australian standards. This is all fitted here in Australia, and it's all been pressure tested here in Australia. If you need to find your gas certificate and your gas compliance plate, that's located in here as well. Handy as, you can store leads in here, you can store your hoses in here, your grey water hose, your freshwater hose, all can store in here. It's a really, really handy, easy area. You can see the whole box is vented. That's with the new compliance rules as well. As part of the new compliance, we've got the new gas fitting. So people quickly worked out that they couldn't do left-hand threads for a long, long time, even though it's been like that for about 100 years. So we've gone to a right-hand thread system now. So we can literally do it up tight, not super tight, just firm, and then check that we've got no air leaks or anything like that around here. Easiest way to see if there's an air leak, it'll obviously, you can hear it, or you'll feel it's nice and cold. If that indicates that you've got an air leak, turn a gas leak, take it off, depressurize it, and then make sure it's on nice and firmly. You can get this out to the point where you can change your gas bottles over. You can obviously hook that one up as well, and then we can slide it straight back in. Make sure it's always nice and locked away, that way nothing's moving, and you can also adjust your gas bottle holder to suit most gas bottles. Close our doors. We can lock them. We've got the little silver key that'll lock those doors. Moving on to our battery system. This is pretty much the brains of our caravan. So on all of our caravans, it is a very, very similar setup. The only thing that changes sometimes if we've got the inverter inside the van or the inverter outside, or you've got a 200 amp battery, 400 or even 800 amps. So the whole system itself remains fairly unchanged across our entire range. Our DT series is a little bit different, uses a slightly different system, but you'll see there's a lot of common synergies. So, going into here, this entire system is fitted here in Australia. It is all supplied by Australian suppliers, and it all comes with a full nationwide 5-year Australian warranty. Really, really important. If we go to our inverter first, the inverter is the brains of the caravan. On this particular van, this inverter is hooked up through the aircon and all of our power points. It's a 2000 watt inverter with a 4000 watt ramp up capacity. So what that means is it will have a 4000 watt peak that it can operate under, and then it will wind back. So if you can imagine your aircon, when it first starts up, it will go to about 2400 watts. That inverter will handle it, and then it will slowly come back down to sit around about the 800, 900 watts. So that's its operating thing. We use a very smart aircon up there with the Nomadic system. If you turn the induction cooktop on, the ramp up capacity is going to be big, so it will take that load and then it will gradually come back. So that's what we mean with a 2000 watt inverter with a 4000 watt peak. It's a very, very powerful inverter here. Pure sine wave, so you can run your CPAP machines and all that sort of stuff of it as well. Importantly, and not all caravans have this, our inverters have an RCD, so they've got a built-in electrical safety switch on it. If you plug in an appliance on the caravan and this RCD trips, it means that you've got an issue with the appliance on the caravan. We do have another RCD or safety switch underneath the seat, which controls our 240 volt in. If you are plugging in at an old caravan park or a generator or something like that, and you plug in and it trips the switch, it means you've got an issue from the external of the caravan. So if we plug in and it trips the switch down here, it means the appliance is faulty. If you plug in from outside, it means the external device that you plug into or the external source has got a fault to it. Could be an earth, could be a number of things. So that's when we need to get the electricians involved, either at your house, because that's not my problem, but that's going to be something you'll have to sort out. Otherwise, looking at the appliances as well that you're using on board. When you plug in, you don't have to change over any ship-to-shore power. It's got an automatic AC transfer switch in it. So as soon as you plug in at 240 volt, the inverter will detect 240 volt power and it will just automatically roll over. As soon as you disconnect, it will go back to a 12 volt power source. So a bit like a UPS system, how that operates. That's our inverter. We do have an app for it. It's available on our website. You can download that. And before you take delivery of your caravan, all of our dealerships and our boys here at Capulcha will show you how to hook that all up. On here as well, you've got power switches, you've got all that sort of stuff. So it's all on there. We can see what's happening very quickly and easy. From a tactile point of view, we've also got this nice whopping great big 400 amp battery. We can see on here, old school devices. We can see on here, we've got 4 lights and we've got a little light flashing saying that we've got a running light. So we know that the battery's running because it's powering things at the moment, and we've got 4 lights. If you need to put the caravan to sleep, there is another video that we've done earlier, but literally you've got an on-off button here as well that you can turn off and isolate all power on the van. Up here, you shouldn't have to touch too much of this. If we have to start playing with this, we normally get an auto electrician involved. Otherwise, give us a call first, because that's it's not something we want our customers tampering with. Explaining all the other devices in here, we've got 2 fuses. Now for this particular van, we've got the 2 fridges on board, the 2 power sources on board. So we've got a diesel heater device, and we've also got our fridge slide. So that's what those 2 MIDI fuses are, or blade fuses are. And here we've got our maxi fuses. Again, we've sealed it. We don't really want customers touching it, because if it's shorting out there, it means we need to get the auto electricians involved. Coming around here, you've also got a circuit breaker. Now, some of our earlier models, that is a maxi fuse. On a lot of our later models now, we've gone to a circuit breaker system. This is from our solar panels. So you can see that little leg's just kicked out there. This is our solar panel feed coming down from the roof and into our solar regulator. So right now, if we needed to put the van to sleep, we'd turn that power off, we'd turn the inverter off, and we just trip that switch, the whole system goes to sleep. When we want to come back into the van, turn our power back on, trip that little switch up there, we will then have solar coming from the roof down into the battery. Up on the wall here, and I'm going to swing around here, Roscoe. Up on the wall here, you can see our solar regulator. So we are indoors, there's no power coming into it at the moment. But you can go through here. Again, there is an app available that we will hook up for you to make sure you don't have to sit there and do this the whole time. But from a tactile point of view, all of our devices still have all the analog features as well. In here, you've got 4 switches. We always have the number 4 switch turned on. That way the system's always in standby. If you need to put it to sleep, you can turn that off. Otherwise, as I said, just turn that circuit breaker off and it'll all go to sleep anyway. The other device we have on here is our DC-DC. Now, on this van here, we've got, we can see up here, we've got our blue flashing light to say that we're talking to a lithium battery. We've also got another little light that keeps on flashing because we've got it connected to a car, but we don't have a charge source yet. So we don't have any charging. So it's trying to say, I'm connected, but what do you want me to do? As soon as I turn the car on, it will then, this green light here will go solid. It can take about 45 seconds. And then the little light next to it will start flashing. And that will mean we've got a power source coming through from the vehicle into the battery. So you'll always have 2 sources. You'll have your solar and your DC-DC. If you are parked up and you don't want to use your vehicle anymore and you want to plug in more solar, you've got that down here. Remembering, it's a red Anderson plug, and you can probably see it under there. So it's a red Anderson plug, which is for solar panels only. It's not grey. When you're plugging in here, you don't want to have another regulator on your solar panel. So you're going straight from the solar panel into the van. That will then go straight through the DC-DC and it will talk to the battery. So you've got power up on the roof, or solar up on the roof, going to the battery, and you've also got the other flexible panels or mobile panels that you can plug in for there as well. So always got 2 charging ports. So that there pretty much explains our battery system. As I said, you will have the app that we will install for you, but a lot of our systems on here from this end are all very much the same across our entire range. So the only thing is the site functionality of it, and we'll go through that at handover, but the bulk of it is what I've just explained to you there. Next up, we're going to talk about water, source of life. On here, we can see our water tank refills. On this particular van, we've got 3. On some of our vans, we have 2. On some of our vans, we have 1. So this particular van's got 240 litres across 3 tanks. You can fill these tanks individually, and you can also isolate them. On all our vans, you can isolate the tanks individually. So if you're only going away for a weekend, you don't need to take all that water. You just take 1 tank or 2 tanks. Always ideal to fill the front tanks first, not the back tanks. Always good to have that ball weight. That way you've got a bit more ball weight, and then your grey water tank's going to be empty at the back there, or your grey water's going to go into that. Coming home, all good. You've got that balance. So, grey water. So your fresh water tanks are all here. Then we have another little device at the top, which is on all our vans as well, which is our mains water, or our city water connection. So you can see here, we've got this little brass fitting. A lot of people will try and do this up really, really tight. You can see the size of that rubber gland in there. You don't need to do this super tight. If I look on here, that will just keep on spinning. It will just keep on spinning forever and a day. What this is designed to do is, as you connect it up, it gets firm, just give it a little touch, and that should be enough. Now, what you will find with some customers, that when they go to van parks or something like that, they'll plug it in and then they'll turn the tap on full bore and then they walk away. That's not what you do. When you do it, imagine you're going from half-inch pipe into 12mm pipe. So if you're at a van park, you turn the tap on and you've got a good stream coming out, remember that pressure is going to increase when it goes into the van. So plug it in and then test the taps inside. If the tap pressure is good, happy days. If the tap pressure needs a little bit more, turn it on a little bit more. Doesn't need to be full bore. Now, another really handy thing is, you can imagine 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, everyone checks out of the van park, and if you've got a house like mine where all the water pressure is weak until someone turns the last tap on, then all of a sudden the kitchen tap works, you can imagine what's going to happen to your van. You've got 50 people checking out at once, they're all turning all their taps off, that pressure is going to fluctuate. If it's an older style van park, all that pressure is going to build up and go into your van, okay? So that's where you just got to be a bit critical on, okay, maybe turn it off at night time if we don't need it. There's no point having it running the whole time if you're not using it, okay? And just think about the checkout where pressure will build, and that's all going through a 12mm pipe into your van. So handy little hint there. So once that comes off, you've also got a dust cap there. Goes on, nice and simple. Again, doesn't have to be super tight, just firm is fine. You will see in everything that we do in this video, all our doors, all our drawers, all our slides, everything just works nice and gently. That's how it always should be. If it's not doing that, stop, have a look. Something's jammed, something's aging, something's wearing, something's caught. If it needs to be lubricated, do that there and then. Don't just keep on jamming things, because it will naturally and progressively get worse. We can see here as well with our doors, this is a really good time to talk about this. Our seals here, we've got seals there. You can see there as we turn the latch to halfway, and then it will compress in. All right, we don't want our doors sitting out like that, because water will naturally fall in, go inside. We want it to be nice and firm, and you can see that seal is nice and tight. Again, if it starts to, the rubbers start to loosen off over time, or they're flattening down, you can bend that little tongue in and get a nice seal again. Back to water, hot water system. So your Truma hot water system, we've done a separate video on this, but you can see here, black writing on a black cover, very hard to see. With our fingers and our thumbs, we've got a little diagram here, 2 thumbs in position, and just pull it over the top. You can see it comes off nice and easy. Don't use screwdrivers, don't use blades, don't use pokey things to try and get it off. It is literally just using your 2 fingers. You'll spread that little gland at the top and it will just come off nice and easy, okay? That there, store it inside, all good. That's on there, clipped on, won't go anywhere. On our water as well, once we've got our water connected up, we can operate our shower. On here, going back to the black writing on black appliances and black plastic, it can be a little bit hard for some of our clients to see. We've got the new shower system on most of our vans now that are 2024 and over. You can see they're really, really high pressure. The more I turn it, the hotter it will get. Okay, so there's hot water out here. Big tip that I can give you is don't just turn it off and pull that out, because that pressure that's backed up behind it will eventually wet you. So turn it off. All right, then we knock it out. And then all we're doing is just draining that little hose. Holding the trigger down, draining the hose. That's that. We can store that then. Pop the cover down, all is good. Stay on this side of the van, you've got your 240 volt and you've got your 12 volt. I'm going to go on to wheels next. It's time to talk torque wrenches. Tim the Toolman. We've got our torque wrench here. If you have never used a torque wrench before, here's a quick run through with it. Normally you can get this from Repco, any reputable place. You can get a half decent torque wrench between 70 bucks and 120. You don't need to spend thousands on a torque wrench. Most of them will have a certificate that comes with them as well to say they've been calibrated. They will all have either a 9mm socket. It's good if you can get the kits that have got the extension on it. And most of the ones with the extension will have a 17, 19 and 21mm socket, so you can do your car tyres and everything as well. On here, if we go down, we've got 6 wheel studs. When you pick up your van, you will see that we've put them all on and we've checked them all. So we've got check markings along it. We've got our torque wrench set to 125 Newton meters. If you forget what Newton meters it is, it's on the side of your van. We're going to put it on there and we're going to check that everything's nice and nipped up. You can hear that clicking, which means it's set to the 125. If you have to get your tyres checked or changed and you go to a tyre shop and you see the young apprentice go with a rattle gun, slamming them on and just rattling them on home, tell him to stop. All right, they don't need to be done that tight. They're a torque wrench system, 125 Newton meters, and we can see they're nice and firm. Try and work in a cross pattern like I just did. And then once you finish with the torque wrench, back it all the way off, because that will loosen the spring off again, and then you can put it back into storage. So while you're down here, always a good idea to check and everything's nice and firm. We've got no movement there. We've checked our wheel pressures. We've checked them up to 55 for highway driving. You can go down as low as 10 with them. And that's all good. Have a look underneath here as well. Everything's nice and as it should be. Put your torque wrench away. The other handy thing with the torque wrench setting, and we're going to tell it because most of our customers will do it, is for our stabiliser legs. Now, we'd be kidding ourselves if we said that not all our customers use drill, because every single customer uses a drill. I'm going to show you how to use a drill properly for your stabiliser legs. Yes, this is a small little rattle gun. I've turned the battery setting down. We can see there we've got forward and reverse. You can see our leg is in a position, so we've wound it down. We're not going to send it all the way home. These are a stabiliser leg, they're not a jacking leg, okay? Purely for stabilising the van. We get it to a point, all right? That's all we need to do. We don't need to sit there. We don't need to sit there and try and jack the whole van up. You will naturally break the shear pin inside there and it will not work anymore, okay? Breaking a shear pin is not warranty, all right? So if you're gonna use a drill or a tech drill, back off on it. You can see there, it goes away. Okay, on this particular van now, we've got it fitted with a diesel heater. So I'll just give the basic run-throughs of how our diesel heaters work. They are fitted here in Australia. They've got a very good warranty with them, but I just want to give you a quick run-through on how they operate. At the front here, you can see there, diesel tank. It'll just keep on turning. You will be given 2 keys, one for each set of key rings that you'll have from us at Nomadic. That one goes on there, literally turns on, and then that comes out. Pretty simple. 5 litres of diesel in. Smell like diesel. Same as your fuel tank on your car, and then lock it on. That's all done. No one can get in and tamper with the fuel. If we go to the back here, you'll see where the motor is on this one. So this here is our motor for our diesel heater. So you can see there it's vented straight through to the main cabin in there. Its exhaust goes out the back underneath. So, but that's where we fit the diesel heater on this one. All our vans are slightly different where the location that is. So, and we'll show you that during handover. But that's your diesel heater. It all runs off a little remote control. Go around here. Excuse my back. You can see on this particular van, our diesel heater and our vent is located there. They'll all look pretty much the same. We can then go power on. And the little lady says start heating. If we want to change the temperature setting on it, we press the M button and then we can go up and down. So that's all changing it. And then to turn it off again, we press the off button, it says stop heating, and then it'll say, it's such a beautiful message. So that's the basic function of how you use a diesel heater. If you turn it off and it takes a little bit to shut down, it is very common. We do the first burn off. Don't be alarmed if after the first, when you pick it up the first time, you do get a bit of exhaust come out of it. It'll just be doing its first burn off. After that, it should run pretty clear and you shouldn't have any smoke on the outside of the van. That is not on the inside. If you got it on the inside, give us a call, we have a problem. So that there is your diesel. So on all our Nomadics, we have this fantastic door, which is nice and solid, but the best thing about it is it's got that separate fly screen in mesh. So you've got cloth on the back, fly screen on the inside there, and basically we can lock that as an entire door and we can leave the door vented essentially. If we're driving or if we're too cold, all that sort of stuff, we've obviously got the solid panel access there that you can then seal the caravan with. To get access to that, all we're doing is lifting up the handle. Instead of using it that way, we're lifting it up. That separates the door. If you do, it's pretty impossible to get yourself locked in because you have to hold down the trigger, lock it, and then try to slam that against the striker plate. It is impossible to do it, but just be mindful of that. So when you are at a van park, your key, so if you're going to be locking up for the night, make sure you give it a good firm push. Doesn't have to be slammed, but just a good firm push. Before you travel, you'll notice you've also got 3 separate locks. So you've got 3 sections where it's going to hit a strike plate. That's designed so that the door doesn't open mid-travel, essentially. So it's nice and firm. So you can see there, nice and dust-proof. If you're unsure if the door's locked, you can just push those 2 points there, and if it's a little bit out of whack because you've been leaning on one side or whatever, you'll hear it click in. But most of the time, it's always done. What you'll find with our doors though is that we put this extra seal here. We've put another layer of dust protection here on the doors. So when you first get the van, they can be a little bit firm. What we ask customers to do, don't just reef on that handle because inevitably something may happen. If you just put some slight pressure on the door, you'll see it opens nice and easy. To show you how much pressure we use, literally I'm just using my thumb to take the pressure off it. That's all we do because we're pretty much used to them now. So that there will give you so that you can get access to it, and you've got that extra layer of protection against any dust or any dust ingress for your van. On the back of it, you've obviously got your curtains there, and if after your first service we need to do some adjustments because the body's flexed a little bit, we've got those striker plates and we can move them in a little bit as well for you. And so that explains the door operation on the Nomadics. Okay, so we're talking about our hob today, just to go through how to light our hob. Now I know that may sound like I'm telling you to suck eggs here, but it is one of those things where they do have a couple of safety devices on, which some customers do find can trick them up at times. If you get stuck, you've got a whole heap of instructions up here. You've also got your ratings and all your warning stickers. Big thing to remember, try and keep these for as long as you can, but if you're going to start cooking, you've got to take that off. Tip number 1 from Adam. If we come down here, we've got our hot plate. We've made sure that everything's still assembled correctly. There's no bits flying out everywhere. And we've also got our protective grill over the top. You'll find the relevant button on this side. Now I don't have any gas connected here, so it's not going to ignite, but what we're going to do is push the little lever down, and that will then create the piezo to ignite the flame. Unlike your household devices, these have got a thermocoupling in them, so you may have to light that. If it's a cold morning or you've got a little bit of overnight dew, you may have to hold that down for up to 15 seconds. If you just take it off straight away when it ignites, the thermocoupling, which prevents any gas leaking with the flame goes out, it won't be hot enough and it won't have set. So that will mean that you've got a flame that'll keep on going out. So literally, we're holding it down. We can hear it clicking, count to 5, and then we release. That flame should stay on. If it doesn't, as I said, you may have to go for 15, 20 seconds. If it's been a really cold night, or even some overnight dew, or even oil or something like that, it's caught underneath that flame area. So when you're storing it, you can get the 3D printed ones, but they're nice and firm. And when we bring this casing over, it actually holds everything in there quite nicely. So packing up our kitchen, literally, we're going to put our wings behind there. Bring that bad boy down. Caution sign, hot surface, don't close that until it's actually not hot underneath, otherwise you can burn yourself, burn your hands with kids. We're going to bring this one over, and you can see now it's starting to take shape on where it needs to be for packing up. Going to our latches and packing up our cutlery, what we see a lot, even at trade shows, is we'll see customers slam that forward and it ends up breaking that little tongue there. So just hold the lip up exactly the same way you open it. It's the same way you're going to close it. Okay, you've got that there. You can see here these rollers are working beautifully. We just use lanolin or a silicone spray on them and they work really nicely. Same as these ones up top. All right, push them into position, lock them in. Down here, same thing. This is what I use for pots and pans. All tucks away. And then what we're going to do then is bring our kitchen around. Ideally, you would have your fridge packed away first, so we'll do that. Lock that on. Close the fridge. That one's away, and you can see here we've got plenty of room now to close this kitchen up. So, on here, we've got a little latch. Now that latch is connected to the body of the van. You've also got a leg underneath the kitchen here as well. So on this latch, if you just go to pull the red handle and it doesn't come out, just stop and think. It does have a little safety switch here on the side. So literally you can just undo that and you'll see it all comes off, and then our kitchen can freely move around. As we bring it around, all I'm doing is just taking the weight a little bit at the back there. This doesn't need to be super heavy or super tight. It's just nice and firm. And then this is where we would either reconnect or disconnect our gas. So in here is where our gas line is. You can see there, we've got the rubber around it. It's a silicone hose, so you're not gonna get them splinters or anything like that. It's at this point, you would either connect your gas or you disconnect your gas, coil it up, put it back in this little hole in here, okay? If I keep on going around, we've also got a little safety toggle over here. Well, it's not a safety toggle, it's just a little holding toggle. So this here just prevents our kitchen going back and forth while we're cooking. So if I push that little button there, I can then bring that little lever up. And what that does then is means our kitchen can go in and out quite freely. You've got these nice big bearings on the side there. They're going into that C channel there. And all I'm doing is literally looking underneath, making sure nothing's hanging down. And then we're going in, and you can see there it glides nice and easy. Don't have your latches hanging out, because you can see what will inevitably happen. They'll bend, so just make sure they're all locked away. They'll get to the point where it'll stop. That one's on, that one's on, that one's on. That's all locked away. Handles are all down, and literally we can bring our door up nice and tucked away. Same with this door. And then we're going to be on to the last but not least, our awning. Okay, here we go. Awning time. We're packing it up, or we're setting it up. It's about the same thing, just in reverse. You can see here we've got our awning out. It's about 1 metre off the van at the moment. If it's a really, really windy day, don't set your awning up. They aren't a Category 5 cyclone rated shelter. They are a sunshade awning. Always use your ropes and pegs. If you get stuck, obviously refer to the user's manual, but utilising this properly is the most important thing. When we get it to 1 metre out, we can see there, if I've just got it here, it is going to hang itself. It's going to be fine. It's not dangling anywhere. But if it was windy, you can see gusts of wind and everything getting underneath it. So what we do, get it 1 metre out, bring those legs down, and the easiest way is just to angle them out a little bit, and you can actually walk the awning forward as it goes out. Now this particular awning is electric. You can also, with some of our vans and our older vans, had the manuals as well. These ones have got the manual override, okay? So when you push the button, stop it, get the legs down, and then turn the button to go the whole way out. Get your ropes and pegs set up already. You'll understand where those go. Get your ropes and pegs set up, that way you're always gonna be nice and firm and it's not gonna take away when you're on a wind up. Once you've got the legs, we're packing up now. So we're gonna take the legs up, we're gonna slide them up. We've got a little toggle latch here. And then what we're gonna do is bring the leg up. You can see it's nice and clear of the fascia bit. On the end here, we've got our base plate. We're gonna turn that in towards the fascia, and literally we've got a little clip here and a clip at the back, and it's gonna lock in place. So there's 2 of those legs. Once we've done that, it's pretty much, with these ones, just a matter of pushing a button. That'll all go away. What you're doing as well is just making sure it is going in quite evenly. There's nothing jamming it. There's no branches or twigs or anything stuck up there. Leaves, all that sort of stuff, because what will inevitably happen is they go through, they make the drum a lot wider, and all of a sudden your awning will go in crooked. So checking it all locks in, that's locked, and it's all firm against the body. And we're just going to turn that off now. We know that one's all tucked away. So that's the awning, that's how easy they are. Alrighty, so as the Crowded House song goes, everywhere you go, you always take the Weber with you. What we've got here is our Weber set up on the barbecue tray. Now, if you're like me, I take a barbecue arm with me, but this is a good little storage area. You can use it to cook, but I prefer to cook on a barbecue arm out there. So you can see here, nice big storage area. If it's a Weber cube, you'd have it as a smaller area. You've got tie down points on the front and back here, so we can really make sure our barbecue is packed away. Loads and loads of room. What you will need though, and I can hear everyone on social media now going, that's not the right barbecue for the right bayonet point. That's why I don't have it still set up there. If you've got the new Webers or you've got the new Ziggies, they do have the flame out feature or the thermo coupling in them. You can buy a bayonet fitting, available at most BCFs and all that sort of stuff. The bayonet fitting goes on down here. You've got 2 bayonet fittings there. One obviously for your barbie, one for your kitchen. So it makes it nice and easy. Don't jump on me with social media because I've used the wrong barbecue with the wrong hose. So that's on there. Other things that will supply with you as well. You've got this smaller pole here. So this here for your fridge slide. Some people put it that way, but it's meant to go that way. So literally, if you've got a bit of weight there and you just want to get it level, you can put that in the ground, poke that up. It's just going to take the weight off that little fridge area for you. They are pretty heavy duty slides. They're rated to about 80 kilos each side, so 160 kilo, but just takes that swing and everything out of it as well. And we can tuck that one away. Now's a really good time to talk about keys. So if we come down here, we can see what keys we need. We give you lots and lots of keys. You don't need to use all of these keys because a lot of them are just double ups. The ones that you will need to keep with your van, you've got the Toyota keys, as I like to call them, but they are the water refill keys. You only need one of them. There's 2 sets on each key. So we give you 2 of these, 2 full sets of keys. We give you 4 of them. You only need 2 of them, so you can create yourself another little spare set if you want. The little football keys or the black football keys, they are for the black football latches on the side of the vans here. So think of that shape there, black football latch, black football lock. The little silver keys, are for the little silver locks. So on the back of the vans now, we've gone to black, and you can see there, they're shaped differently. They're all the same. Again, you've got double ups of these keys, so you've got plenty of them. You only need the one. Then the only two keys that are for your van, for this particular van, is your door key. Now what we do here is got the little red mark on it. So that's our door key, and it's got a unique number. That's for here. You can see there, it goes in, locks our door, opens our door. The other one that's a unique for this van is our Thetford toilet key. So that's for our Thetford toilet casing down the back here. So we're going to lock it away so no one can steal our poo canister. There you go. So that's our keys. Come on a nice big Nomadic lanyard. You get 2 sets of them. So I hope that explains the key situation with a Nomadic camp. Now we get to talk about the messy end of the caravan. So we've gone from the pointy end to the pilly end. This is our Thetford toilet cassette. Now, if we open our door, we do have the lock there. We showed you through on the keys how to open that. So pushing the 2 buttons opens up nice and easy. You can lock this because apparently people like to steal these things. So what you'll find in here, our water supply comes straight from our main tanks, but then we've got a holding tank in here for all our waste, our black water waste. We've got a separate grey water tank underneath, but this is for our black water waste. Under here, we have that little yellow flap there. Now, if I open that up and I can't pull that out easy, it means that the toilet hopper flap is still open in there. Don't reef it out. A, you'll break the seal. B, whatever business is up there will very quickly become your business, and you're going to see it. It's horrible. So if you can't do that nice and easy, stop, close the door, go inside, and there's a little grey lever on the side of the toilet. You literally shut that, it will close the hopper door, and that way you can open this up. I'm just going to do that very quickly now. Whilst we're in here, I'll also explain, on the toilet, you've got a blue flush button, and you've also got a little indicator light here. So the indicator light will start to flash yellow once the hopper's getting full, and it will go red once it is reached its point of no return. If it gets to red, don't treat it like the fuel gauge on your car, where you'll try and get a little bit extra out of it. It will just turn all nasty for you. So that's the easiest way. You've got that little indicator light on there. That's the little flap that we're talking about there. So opens and closes the little hopper shut off valve up here. All right, we'll go back outside and I'll show you how easy it is to open and pull that canister back out. Okay, so we've closed the flap inside, and now we can easily remove the toilet cassette. We can see here, if we were going for a little bit of our walk of shame, we've got a little handle there, we've got our wheels, go for our walk. When we get to our destination, we'll get at a dump point, have a chat with everyone. We then get here, swivel the arm around, undo the top, we rotate, hold the little breather button open, and literally pour. The breather button stops it going glug, 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 and splashing back at you. And then most points will have a hose, fill it up a little bit, give it another swish around, tip it out, and then what I do is I put about another half a litre back in and chuck the tablet in then. That way I don't have to worry about it. Seal it back up, and then do your walk of shame back to your caravan, and then literally it slides in nice and easy. If it doesn't do that, it means something's jammed. Don't go playing around in there. Check that hopper level. That hopper lid is also open or closed at the same time. All right. Big thing to do, if you have taken the cassette and you're going for a coffee and all that sort of stuff, make sure you tell the person inside the van that you have got no toilet. Otherwise, it turns all sorts of disaster. Okay, so that is how we use our Thetford toilet cassette. I do find that it's easier if you use the Thetford chemicals and the Thetford toilet paper. It all breaks down a lot quicker than some of your other cheaper products. Okay, windows, really important on a caravan. A, they stop any dust coming in. B, they're going to give you security at night and also allow any moisture that builds up inside the van to be removed. So this is how I'm going to show you how you would have your windows either at night. If you're happy to leave them open at a remote location, that's all cool. But at night time, I like to have the windows open in a draft mode, but still secure so that no one can physically get into the van. So what we've got is we've got a little setting, a limiter here. So we've got that setting there, which if you looked on the outside of the van right now, you would see that window's open around about 8 mil. So that there's a draft mode. So it's going to allow circulation through the van, but we're not going to, no one can actually physically open the window. The beauty of that is, as I said, circulation gets rid of any condensation, any moisture build up from your body heat during the night. You've got your fans here, turn them on, you're going to have a really pleasant night's sleep. When you're driving though, you do not want them on draft mode because that will mean you're going to get dust and all that sort of stuff in your van. That's when you pull them nice and firmly and tuck those windows in behind that lug. So pretty simple and easy there. The other big thing with windows is don't let the kids just leave them closed. You can see there with our new windows, they're a multi-stage system. With our old windows, they used to have a little screw-on tab that used to lock the windows in. Either way, they work the same in the same operation. So don't just leave them closed. Bring them in, 2 hands ideally. Close there, close there. You do have a fly screen, which you can bring down, and you've also got a blackout screen. We close all the blackout screens while we're driving. That way we know we've actually locked the windows. It's our little thing that we do. So that's how it is with the windows. Nice and simple, nice and easy, but they play a really important role with keeping the van moisture free when in storage or when in use, and also from dust free, obviously when you're driving. Alrighty, here we are at the business end of your Nomadic off-road camper. Now, the guys will go through in detail what all this means, but it is fairly basic when we drill it down to it. We've looked at our battery management system earlier. Now we're basically onto the BMS side, but more of the light switches and gauges and all that sort of stuff. All of our vans have been they've kept on adapting over the years. We've got some that have got different light switches, different panels, all that sort of stuff, but they all pretty much work in the same way. All clearly labeled. We can see here, we can basically shut everything off. We can turn it all off and it's all pretty much dead right now. If we need to, so that's how we can have it at night. We can still have our night light on our aircon. We can do all that sort of stuff. But if we want to have power, I'll just turn those lights back on. We can see on here, we've got our sockets, which turns on all our 12 volt sockets, our fans, anything 12 volt basically comes on with a socket. Our water pump, pretty straightforward as to what a water pump does. Importantly, with when you're doing your mains water in, you're not using a water pump, so you wouldn't use a water pump while you're doing city water. So there's that. Audio is literally our stereo, so we turn it on there. If I push that button again, it'll go to BT. We can run Bluetooth, and we can turn our external speakers on and off. Okay. And the guys will actually hook that up to your phone when we do the connection. Our hand light, so our hand light becomes our blue hand light here, and obviously our little step light here, and so that we can find our way home at night. And then our pilot lamp, on some of our vans it'll say pilot lamp, otherwise it will also come on with the power switch. You can see all our gauges and everything have come on at the same time there, so really simple and easy. The other one we've got up here is our awning switch, and then up here, this is our battery monitor system for our inverter. So literally we're turning our inverter on here, and this is what's talking to the Bluetooth on your phone. So you can scan through all these little things, we can see what's going on, but you'll have it all on one big screen on your phone. So whether you're an Apple user or an Android user, you will have all this information on one screen on your phone. This is the analog monitor, basically monitoring all your battery system from over there. On this one as well, we've got all our internal lights. On some of our newer vans, we've actually bypassed this now. We've gone to all just remote switches, just saving some of these battery panels. We've also got, as I said before, our stereo.
and our trim hot water system switch. So we've got separate videos on how to light all that, but I just thought I'd give you a quick rundown on the battery switches and gauges here on a Nomadic off-road camper. So I hope that's answered a lot of your questions, guys. There's a lot of information that we give to all of our customers. You've got cameras, you've got user manuals, you've got gas certificates, you've got all these books and everything. Happy reading, it's going to be fantastic. But I hope those videos have given you a quick reference guide and answered a lot of those early questions ahead of your handover. So that way when you come in, the best advice I can give you, write a list of notes. That way the guys can specifically go through the information that you really want to drill down on with your handover. We recognise a lot of our customers already had a camper or had a caravan, so they understand the basics of it, but they really want to drill down on some of the important tech bits. So that's where I hope these videos will come in handy. As always, have a great day, happy camping, and we hope to see you out on the road very soon. Hey guys,